Good evening, everyone.
Hi everyone.
Snap, snap.
Yeah,
Oh, oh no, Mr. Pink sound. Uh, Please excuse this person.
Because it got too fancy. Okay, they should be able to hear me now. Okay, people, thank you. Hello. Welcome to this well, if you're still here after the stream being silent for the first, how long have we been streaming? 2 minutes. We're back now. Hopefully you're still around. My we started late and I had no audio because I took my half my streaming setup to Houston with me for the Visterion event and came in, was so excited to stream this evening that I didn't think about the fact that I had to unpack half my gear, set it up again. And as part of that, when I was in Houston for the Inc. 28 Vesterian event, make sure to check out previous live stream for more details on that because we did a whole creature conference live from Houston. Yeah, when we were doing that, we had this awesome mic setup that was brought by between the bolter and me, and I had my computer configured for that mic setup, not mic setup. So, though you guys can hear me out in Discord land, my computer wasn't picking up my audio for the stream. So there's a long, boring explanation for why it was silent. Let's try it again. I'm your host, Modern Synthesist, otherwise known as Mr. Pink, and I'm joined, well, the hosts already introduced themselves, or at least said hello. But you didn't hear who the hell they were. So let's try it again. We got Will, otherwise known as Tactical D-Bag. Want to say hello, Will? Did you say anything? No, I can't hear you. Oh, this is fun. What in the Tar Hill, Sam Hill, Tarnation is going on here? I can't hear you guys' audio.
Can you hear me right now?
Okay, now I
Oh
can hear your
no.
audio.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay, it's fixed now. I
Yay.
the fifth member is strong this evening. Okay, so let's try it again. Will, hi. Tactical D-Bag.
Hi.
Thanks for putting up with my bullshit. Would you like to say good evening to everyone?
No, not anymore. It's the moment's passed.
Okay, well, and for those wondering, Will is the picture-in-picture on the bottom with the brownish mat there and the hive tyrant pieces turning into something way more interesting. Next, we got Kajan coming to us live from Germany, other side of the world. Kajan's on
Hi,
top there with the black mat. Hi, Kajan. Want to say good evening to people?
hi everyone.
Hi, and what are you working on this evening?
I'm working on my Knitbumber project.
Sweet. And then, though I started this stream with my voice on silent, the real voice on silent is Shane. Shane voice is a little more silent this evening because he is dealing with pneumonia. Shane, please say whatever you'd like to say or snap twice to tell people you love them. Mike did not pick that up. I'm going to guess that was 2 snaps. Yeah. So glad you're with us, Shane, even though you might not feel like talking. So good to have you along. Yeah. Can't remember what I said or didn't say, but definitely if you didn't catch the Creature Conference, last one we did live from Houston, go back, check it out. It was really cool. We had a bunch of different guests on and showed their war bands for the 28 Vesterian event. I'm freshly back from that. It was a lot of fun, and I recorded last night a video with Between the Bolter and Me, all about my impressions of it. So I don't want to repeat myself. I don't know. We can talk about it. If you want to see that, it's actually me and so.
I mean,
Huh?
if I'm being honest, I'm more interested in how far you gotten with the project. I mean, we
Project
can go to, yeah, you were last we spoke on the work in progress. You were working on your
Stereo
uh,
project.
yeah, and
Yeah, I got
I'm
it done.
curious if you met. Yeah, okay.
Um, yeah. Oh, I have the camera set up very well. Well, I can see Kajan from that comment that you have not watched last week's Screech conference because it's
No, I didn't get around to that.
okay. I'm just
I
saying
was
that because
busy dying.
I put the oh yeah, don't die. And don't be a dick. This is my new mug that I got from Houston. Um, yeah, I showed I should post some pictures. I'll post some pictures on Instagram of the cult and on my YouTube community page. In fact, I will post them on the YouTube community page before Instagram because screw Instagram. YouTube for the people who really like me hang out. And I'll post some pictures of them so that you can see them. But I got them all painted. I built this big I guess I did the shrine totally on my own. I guess you guys didn't see the shrine. I showed the fish that I was messing with. I did that on the last stream that we did, right? And I was doing the cloacas and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diana and Electro Dust Bunny want to know which part of Rick Priestley's house we are coming from.
Oh, Rick Priestley's Kajan, why don't you tell the people what part of Rick Priestley's North American palatial cottage we're coming from?
I think we are coming from the auxiliary beach house.
Auxiliary beach? Tell me more about the auxiliary beach. That
Beach
sounds
house.
opulent.
House.
Oh, beach house. I thought he had a backup beach for when his normal beach is missing.
I mean,
No,
that is what auxiliary beach house is.
Oh no, but I thought Kajan was stopping at beach. There was no house to follow it. Auxiliary beach.
Kind of a like, peasants wouldn't have a beach house to go with his beach.
Yeah, I just thought he had two beaches.
Probably has.
So I'm got a bit of a problem here where model I'm trying to work on is in a box, and I haven't worked on it in a long time. I gotta find that box. So, Will, you have some stuff you could say about what you've been doing in your hobby this week?
Oh man, maybe I'm the wrong person to ask about this. I haven't
Should
actually
we
had a
ask
lot of
Kajan
time
to
to
start?
hobby. Yeah,
Kajan, do
Kajan,
you have some stuff you
what
could
have you been
say?
working?
I've been working on my November project for the since start of November. Made some progress on that one. I did the prompt Flynn made where you can roll for it. I mean, I had plans, and when November rolled around, I realized I'm not in the mood for them. So I wrote on Flynn's great table and uh, got movement what was it?
Morph.
Uh, movement the I'm blanking on the term. I'm sorry. So it was clear to me that I'm going to do something with legs or movement, and yeah, so I'm working on a malefactor right now.
Malefactor, awesome.
Yeah, but I didn't get to do much last week because much like Shane, I was also blessed by Nurgle, and yeah, so
Well, I'm
I
glad
have
you got
catching
to.
up to do.
Well, you're feeling better, Kajan.
Yeah, I'm much improved
Happy to hear.
compared to last week.
Shane, I wish you the same. I hope it will be much improved by next week. I was very lucky. It was in the first box I looked in.
Hey.
Yay!
What have you guys been working on?
Oh yeah, chat. Let us know. And on my end, I was just frantically finishing the Visterian cult. One of the really cool things about it though is that I started the bases. I think I started the bases. Down a bunch of coffee stir sticks. Uses a plasticard, styrene. That's what you're into. This was a really easy way to make these bases. Yeah, I took these coffee stir sticks, I cut them into like regular lengths, and then I glued them together on like an offset pattern onto a piece of plasticard. Then I used no more nails to glue them on there, and then I glued the piece of plasticard onto the bases. Actually, what I did before that is that I went in with I bought these hole saws. Oh shit, there we go. I bought these hole saws for a power drill that I have, and I am obsessed with using these things to make base toppers. So you just get a hole saw that's basically the size of the top of the base, and then you get like a wide flat section of texture, and you just go boom, 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 and like hole saw out the shit you want. So I pioneered that on my Tyranids bases, which is like a big 3D printed tile, and then I just like hole sawed out base toppers. And for this one, I got like you can see pictures of it on like both my community page and on previous Work in Progress Wednesdays when I was working on it. I got a big sheet of plasticard, and I just lay all the wood across it and covered like this, I don't know, 4-inch by 6-inch area, maybe slightly bigger, 5x7. And then I just hole sawed out toppers for the bases, like. And then so these ones were a little busted, so I did them as like ruined, and then filled in the rest, or I wanted to fill in the rest with Monument Hobbies. Is it dirt stuff? I got it right here. Pro Brown Earth. Fine. This was given to me by Fenris Workshop. So yeah, stuck them all together, and then I had all these plans. But then Nora, who's lovely, was like, "You're freaking out about this thing. You have to paint that shrine thing you made. Can I help with the bases?" I'm like, "You sure you want to help with the bases?" She's like, "Yeah, I want to help with the bases." She actually really enjoyed it. So she was the one who, with a little bit of direction from me, painted them, applied the Pro Acryl Brown Earth Fine, and added some Dirty Down Moss to them. So here is the base for the shrine, which I didn't wind up really using because the shrine, I didn't glue it on, which was good because it was easier to transport. And the shrine, I put weights in the bottom, so it stands pretty well. But I wanted to share these because I was really proud of like the work that Nora did on them. I built them. I primed them black, and then I like kind of directed her in dry brushing them like a gray color and then some other colors, and like suggested that she use some Army Painter Strong Tone to like put in the shadows. Suggested that she add the Pro Acryl Dry Earth, and then I think all that I did was I came back with fine brush and just did the like striations on the wood to kind of make it look like grain. So those like wood grain, so those like long white stripes. Then I dabbed some white around, hoped that it would look like barnacles or salt stains or something like that. And overall, I think it was a pretty cool effect. It looks like the deck of an old wooden ship or like an old dock, which is exactly what I was going. That's like micro version of it there. There's the macro version of it. And pretty cheap to do because these coffee stir sticks are free in coffee shops. Just swipe them. Swipe a few every time you go in, and you'll have more than you need after a while. And just cut them into like, they're all the same length, but I made sure that they didn't start, I would stagger each one. In fact, I cut some of them a little bit longer and a little bit shorter. Trim them off the edges. This I did with the hole saw, the small one. I did not do this one with the hole saw. what I did, I glued it on the plastic card. What the heck did I do? What did I do then? Oh no, I lied. I just took the pieces and glued them right onto the base. So this one doesn't have a base topper on it. Just like I would take a piece and like lay it out there and then add one. And so I glued them all on here with No More Nails, which is like an all-purpose glue that you can get at a hardware store. And then when they were peeking off the edge of the base, I flipped it over. And if you know me, you'll know one of my all-time favorite blade tools is a chisel blade. You need one of these. So what I did was anything that was peeking off the edge of the base, I basically like put the blade down along like parallel to the edge of the base and just like snapped off pieces of wood that were sticking out. So I just did that like that. Put it a little bit under the lip there and psh, 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 psh. It was a really good way to clean off the edge. And yeah, came out pretty well.
Yeah, they look really nice.
Thanks. I got compliments on them at Visterion, and I made sure to tell everyone that it was my wife that made them. I painted them and made them look so good. But yeah, and I liked that it supported the nautical theme, but it also looked different from other people's bases. Bases are very kind of light colored, like gray white, and a lot of other people would have like muddy brown. Yeah, and then with these ones that I showed before where the hole saw kind of screwed these up, so I like broke the boards to make them look broken rather than like up. And then these blank spaces where there aren't boards, that was the area I would fill in with the brown earth or some kind of textured filling mud midi. All right. So that's
I
what
really
my
like
last
that,
week
Mr.
was.
Pink. It's pretty cool.
Thanks. Thanks, dude.
I've actually been thinking of doing a section of my Triptych 28 basing, kind of that kind of old creepy Innsmouth dock kind of
Good.
style. So this is good note taking for that.
One thing I learned that I wish I'd learned before, don't put the boarding right tight against each other, because the places where I left gaps, it looks way better than the places where I got it really tight because you can see the gaps. It's also the case that after I put the wood on, because wood can kind of like absorb paint and make you need more paint, I did a layer of wood, like white glue, a little bit of diluted white glue, or a couple layers just painted over top to try and seal it. And that might have filled some of the
Yeah.
gaps.
Yeah, I've seen people do that with trench bases. They seal it with Mod Podge.
Yeah. But it like Nora loved it, and she's like, "Hey, when do you want me to make some more bases for you?" I'm like, "Guy, I don't have anything that needs like bases right now." He's like, "Hey, need any of them bases? I hear you want like them bases." I'm like, "Dude, you need to chill." Really into it. Which I guess there are worse problems you can.
Yeah.
As
Sorry,
far as students.
I had to go deal with a child emergency. She has one of those, you know, those like little like tube toys you get at aquariums and stuff where they have like glitter and little
Oh
toys
no.
in them and they like slip and slide around. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
filled with water.
Oh yeah.
Well, she popped it and
Of
it
course she did. As one
spilled
does.
all over the carpet with the glitter and the blue water and everything, and I had to go
Oh
clean
man.
that up.
While
Miraculously
you're
cleaned up
sick.
pretty good.
Oh good.
Yep.
I mean, I should hope so. The way those things, because they gotta break eventually. But I hope they're easy to clean. Yeah, so I don't know. Chat, what have you been working?
Electro Dust Bunny was working on his old Hammer Space Marines and Space Hot
Hmm?
Minis by hand. I'm not quite sure what by hand means in this context.
I'll do it.
And Diana has been organizing her supplies for her sister's table at her group's Christmas craft next Friday.
Oh cool. What kind of crafts does she do? Or you do, or
And she,
both of you do?
And she's sad about missing. She may miss next stream.
Oh, next stream. So the very next stream, the next creature conference, I am definitely going to miss that because that is my wife and I, well, Nora and I are celebrating our like 10-year anniversary. So
Woo.
woo. So the next Friday creature conference will need to be rescheduled. And then the next work in progress Wednesday, I might have to shift it to, I think we're scheduled for December 4th. Is that right? Well, the next one should be it's not scheduled. Next one, by doing the math of over 2 weeks, would be December 4th, I believe.
Yes.
And I'm not sure. Something like I there's a potential that I might have to do a work thing that night, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. So once I know, I'll speak to you fine folks and we'll see what the plan is if we can't do it on that Wednesday. Hoping for Thursday the 5th. But of course we'll have to see availability everyone.
Yeah, let's cross that bridge when we get there. And
Yeah.
no more.
But Diane, I'd love to hear what kind of stuff you're getting into at table art talking. And of course, if you want to promote it, if anyone on here is going to where you're going to be, although I don't know if you want to dox yourself. So
Radon has been finishing his fishy alligator tyrant for November.
I just remembered that there's something I wanted to do on stream that is sculpting related. So I have these how to sculpt videos, and I have this weird notion that I had somehow that anyone who's seen any of my videos has probably seen all of my videos, and I don't need to reiterate stuff but that's not. And I kind of realized that this weekend, because I was hanging out with some awesome hobby folks, and some of these people actually are paid to sculpt. I guess I can say who. One of the people. Oh shit! But I don't know how to. One of the people who I met over the weekend is a guy by the name of Shane. He goes by. It's like Seventh Blind Man. Sorry.
Sorry, it was a bad joke.
Oh, because we already have a Shane?
Yeah.
Different Shane.
There can only be one.
Hold on, I gotta find this on Instagram. So Shane goes by, I think it's 7H Blind. 7? Oh, 7HE. Like Seventh Blind Man, but with 7 and... Oh, Brockway. So Shane Brockway is professionally employed by people like Dimension 20 and Critical Role to make their miniatures.
Oh, neat.
Like they're like the big
the Critical
time.
Role just get cancelled?
Oh, I don't know. I hope not for Shane's professional career.
I think I saw a video about WizKids canceling the line.
Well, that's poopy.
The critical role line.
Good thing he's got another job. But I was talking to him and I was talking about like some green stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, like so when you're sculpting like all the time, do you use epoxy sculpt? And he's like, no. I tend to mix like green stuff with milliput. I'm like, oh, you should try epoxy sculpt. And he's like, okay, cool, I'll give it a go. And then I was asking about like Nivea. I'm like, how do you lubricate your tools when you're I was asking about lubrication. How do you lubricate your tools when you're sculpting miniatures? He's like, I just use water. And I'm like, oh shit, man, you gotta try Nivea. Because the problem with using water to lubricate your tool is that you have to keep going back and getting your tools wet, kind of like I'm realizing here. Stuff. This metal tool that's just made with water. So I go ahead.
On the subject of Nivea, while it's up there, I tried I've used Nivea soft in between now going back to the regular Nivea, and I would strongly recommend to get the soft one.
Why? It's just a different kind of
It's
cream.
it's it's also water based, but it's much more liquidy. That's why it's soft and yeah, it works like the regular Nivea, but I feel it stays on the tool much longer.
Interesting. So maybe more oily or something.
Yeah, it's just yeah, it's the water content is a little higher, so it's it's making it a little bit more pleasurable to work with.
Oh,
That's at
cool.
least what I just found out. Now going back to the regular Nivea.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
in the interest of telling people stuff that I may have already told you, well, I might not have told the person sitting behind you. First off, when I was at Asgard Games in Houston, shout out Asgard Games, shout out our boy Luke there. Um, they, I was looking at their stuff and I was just like checking out the store, and I saw that they had green stuff being sold in bars. And I was like, listen, I want to support this shop because they hosted our event and let us take over the store. And I want to support any shop that decides to buy green stuff in bars instead of in tape, because Army Painter sells it in tape, and I think a lot of people get like stock from Army Painter. So good on Gale Force 9 for continuing to sell green stuff in bar, and good on Asgard Games for getting green stuff in bars. So I figured, I see some green stuff in bars, I can support that. So I bought some. This is
I
better
have
than buying your
them.
greens. Yes, Kajan?
I have them as well. And the problem with them, I feel like, is the caps they put on the ends. They
Okay,
are really
in the
hard to
interest of
remove.
not letting perfect get in the way of good, yes, the caps are annoying. You can't get them off, but it's better than having your entire green stuff strip in contact. So that's the first thing that I want to say, that when you're buying green stuff, try to buy it in bars like this. Gale Force 9 sells it like this. A certain shitty Spanish company, whose name I won't mention, also sells it like this. If they're the only people you can get it from, might as well, but try not to buy from them. And the beauty of this is that the blue and the yellow are not in contact like they are in the ribbon. You might say, so what? It's just a small part of it, but the older your green stuff gets, that part that's in contact will start to set. And then if you want to use your green stuff, you're going to have to go in and cut out the part where they're in contact. So this way you don't have to do that. You're going to have to do some ugly cleaning off these. They're just like paper. They look like foil, but they're just paper caps. So you'll lose a little bit there, but not as much. That's your first tip. Buy it in bars. Second tip is something that we discovered on one of our streams, and then I did a video about it. I did a video called "You're Storing Green Stuff Wrong," and it sounds like a clickbaity thing, but we found out that the plastic that they put on the yellow side actually reacts with yellow putty, and it can cause it to set. In fact, the older your putty is, the more that's going to happen. And I tell you what, this is old putty. When you're usually touching green stuff, you shouldn't be able to touch the yellow comfortably. It should immediately stick to your fingers. I've even got some water on me, but sticking to me. I've peeled the plastic off this. This is not sticking at all. So I know that this green stuff is a little bit old, and it might have gotten to the point where the layer of the green stuff that's immediately in contact with this plastic wrapping has started to set and get leathery. You ever get hard bits in your green stuff? You're like, why is there hard bits in my stuff? It's because of either this or because the blue and the yellow were in contact in the ribbon and they start reacting. So I'm going to have to peel the outer layer off this. Part feels more viable than plasticky. Let's see how, a key test is how easily you can separate the upper layer from the rest. Like, off in a piece. No, that's... Although when it's halfway like this, it's really hard to clean off that area. On bad, it'll...
My question is, if it gets to this point where it kind of starts to cure, if you then remove the plastic, will it keep curing or will it stop the process?
I don't know. I've not seen the process continue, but it could also be that I remove the plastic and the outer layer, I also mix it all up. So maybe the stuff that was... So
I also recommend keeping it in your fridge for long term.
yeah, I
Only
don't do
take
that.
parts out you need and put it in your fridge. That also helps with stopping it from the it slows the reaction down.
Yeah, so you're kind of jumping all over my tip, but yeah,
No,
Kajan's right that if you mix up your green stuff, you make it green, and you're not using it all immediately. If you take the stuff that you've already mixed up and you put it in your freezer, it'll slow down the process a lot of. So instead of the green stuff going on 2 hours, you can use green stuff from your freezer. If you mix it up, put it in your freezer immediately, it should last for at least one, maybe two, 2.5. Yeah, and you can in between you can store your green stuff in the fridge. I don't do that. Like it would definitely help, but I've never had a problem with it curing faster. It might be different in like a hotter environment or something, but I don't store my green stuff in the fridge, but I do store it in glass jars because the reason that this stuff is getting not sticky on the outside and it's starting to develop this film is because contact with plastic. So if you take it and put it in a plastic jar, not guaranteed, but it could be that the plastic you stored in starts that process. You know what? I think this is not that bad. Now that I'm starting to press on it, it's a little less tacky, but okay. Maybe I don't have to strip the whole outside. So the next step is the thing Kajan was talking about, stripping caps off. Get like a flat tool in under there and like around. Get the caps off. They stick better on the blue than they do the real nice. Problem is that you try and peel off the epoxy and it looks like the paper itself is starting to come. So yeah, tip 1, don't buy green stuff in ribbon form if you can help it. Tip 2, get the green stuff out of the packaging and put it in an airtight glass container. Or like you can store it in plastic, it's just that it might still react. That's just the yellow. I've never seen the blue really side. So if I like stick my finger here, goes on, comes off readily. This fresh green stuff with it, immediately I feel the stick. See that? Far stickier. This is stick. That's the same amount of pressure. So I'm hoping that if I just mix that together, it'll be fine.
And I feel bad for cutting in again, but it doesn't just apply to green stuff. It's all the two-part epoxy and that's having basically a yellow and a blue part, one that's sticky, one that's not. And they all can react with plastic and stuff. So the tips are not just for green stuff, but all epoxy parties.
Yeah, I haven't seen it as bad with epoxy sculpt. I feel like epoxy sculpt reacts more to the air. Like the one part of epoxy sculpt that gets like kind of crusty and like hard. I think
Part
that's air
part
exposure.
B.
Is it part B?
Yeah, it's the paler color that reacts a little bit more. Like mine's
Mm,
definitely a little bit crusty, whereas the brown, the more gray component is like looks perfectly normal.
The
I
gray that was going
mean,
crusty for me, but okay.
I have some milliparts on hand, which I kept in the packaging and didn't probably store it in the fridge and stuff. And when you look at my camera right now, you see where the blue, basically the blue part, which comes in this blue bag, has reacted with the plastic it's in. That's the brown part, the deep
The orangey
brown
brown. Yeah.
point. Yeah, and uh, it it happens. That's what we are talking about. About it's reacting with the plastic. It's coming in, and it's not just green stuff. That's what I wanted to add.
Yeah, so it's a safe bet. Like this is what I just I got this little I'm just going to throw that away. It's fine. I always wind up with more blue stuff left over than... I mean, more blue stuff left over than yellow. Oh, wait, this one still has the plastic on it. Okay, that one doesn't...
Yeah, that's because the classic Games Workshop came in 2-to-1 ratio of yellow to blue, and strangely enough, when you get it somewhere else, like Gale Force or Army Painter, they selling it in 1-to-1 quantities. So
I don't think it was 2-to-1 in Games Workshop. I think it was like 60-40. In fact, I have a package of Games Workshop green stuff unopened out in the studio. So I'll go check it later. Right, kids. I've got a mint new in box OOP Games Workshop green stuff. The only kind of old hammer that I want to get into.
But is that tournament legal?
Oh, no, it's Legends. Sorry, buddy.
probably not.
It's Legends.
I got a kind of cool package in the mail today. I totally forgot I ordered this,
Oh,
but I got
you
the
jammy
Smash
bastard.
Bash,
What is it?
the Smash Bash Advent Calendar.
Oh, dang.
It's kind of like tempting, but I'll be a good Christmas sport and wait until the holiday season.
So it's got a bit every day for, is it 10 days?
It's got it looks like a little collection of bits, once a day for 12 days.
Cool.
And supposedly one of the 70 he made has a custom kit bash that he made.
I thought you said 3 of them did. Something like that. I thought you said there was a
Did
couple.
he say 3? I know there were at least a couple that did.
I think there was more than one that had a custom kit.
I'm just excited because it's all stuff that came from his collection, and he's got a pretty substantial bits box, so I'm sure it'll be.
So this is I always screw it up. Is it totally not panicking or definitely not panicking? I can never do it right.
Totally not panicking.
Yeah, so totally not panicking. Matt, he was not at the Vesterian event on the weekend, but he did send a board that he made in his very like iconic style. I didn't get to play on it. Should have prioritized playing. I prioritized playing on the one that Bill Ford made that was like a corridor board reminiscent of, you remember Shibboleth? Who did like, I think they did a setting called Lesotho something. So yeah, Bill based his board on Shibboleth's board, so I saw that and I was like, a lot of fun. It's like a Zone Mortalis Into the Dark style board. But I didn't get to play on Totally Not Panicking's board, unfortunately. So when you got your green stuff separated, you just shove it into your glass container. I tried to separate these because this stuff is technically newer than this stuff, so I try and use the ugly stuff before I get to the... Same thing over here. I should probably mix this up because it's got that... That's cool that you got that advent calendar. I looked at it. I thought about it.
Yeah, I kind of actually wish I would have gotten the second one. It would have made a good Christmas gift for my brother.
Oh, there you go.
But unfortunately, I did not think about that at the time, and now they're sold out.
Oh, damn. I was thinking about them when I was at Visteria, and I'm like, they're probably gone. So here I'm just trying to distribute the yellow stuff that was plastic. Because it didn't come off easily. Like, you have a thing of green stuff you've had for a long time, and you try what I did, where you take the plastic off, and then you take like a tool and try and slide it down along the green yellow stuff on plastic. If it's really bad, the yellow stuff won't break. It'll like kind of come off in another sheet of plastic. But it is. So this was not doing that. It was harder to separate it. So
Roger Pink has criticisms, and he says, "Dude, your tool and fingers are cross-contaminating."
What?
I think you were cross-contaminating the blues and the yellows with your tools and fingers.
Yeah, well, it's fine. Such a small amount, it's not going to do it. I'm not careful about this shit. I feel like this yellow stuff doesn't feel as crisp and new as like the green stuff, but whatever. I'm supporting Asgard. was so cool. We like took over like the back half of this game store. The front half was like mostly like Magic the Gathering stuff, and then the back half had some tables for gaming. And 3 or 4 tables back there. It's a good time. A lot of cool people. A lot of very interesting people.
That was Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, I was gonna say Napoleon Dynamite was there. In case you haven't heard, because I had not until this event, Magos Buer, who did the Gelida event, the like that Frozen Planet. It was one of the Ink 28 events. He also did something else, like something Forest. I don't know. He is producer on a film called I think it's called The Grim and the Dark. And then I didn't know this, but the subtitle is The Search for John Blanche. And it's about like kind of tabletop miniature stuff, but also like grim dark fantasy a little bit. But it sounds like it mostly features around like 40K and like miniatures. And Napoleon Dynamite, John Heater, is in it as their fish out of water character. You know how you have like a fish out of water character who's like, "What's Warhammer 40,000?" So you people who are experts can talk at me about it. Like they're like the surrogate for the audience. So John Heater is the like, what is 40K? What is Grimdark person in that movie? Apparently somebody knew him or had a connection to him. So they got it. Someone on the production. So there was a film crew at Vestarian on Friday with John Heater. And they were recording interviews with the likes of the Wire brothers and Isaac Tobin. Greetings away. I think they chatted with some other folks. Yeah, and apparently the topic is the Grimdark. So I posted a link to the teaser. I'd call it a teaser. I wouldn't call it a trailer. The teaser trailer on my Instagram stories the other day. But if you search the Grim and the Dark trailer, you can find it. I think the studio is called Trademark Films. That helps. Grab it and put it. Oh, Grimdark. Dark Future. Oh, it doesn't have that good SEO yet.
While you are looking at that, Diana answered earlier about what she's crafting at the crafting thing, and it's
Yep.
felt. It was something made of felt. Sorry, I lost the line.
Felt ornaments.
Felt ornaments, yeah, that was the
Cool.
one.
I don't even know. If you're curious about like the kind of stuff that I was posting from Vestarian, you go to my Instagram page. The very first highlight, saved story, is about Vestarian. So it's like videos. That's cool that you're doing felt stuff. There it is. Hidden Arc film. Here is your link. I googled it. I couldn't really. The Grim and the Dark. Search for John Blanche. John Heater's journey into the world of Grim. Picture on trailer menu is a trailer head from this. You can release the release date is spring 2025. You can pre-order it now for the low price of $12. It will be 100 minutes long. Anyway, there you go. It's in the chat here. And I will send it to myself so I remember. Hopefully it's cool. They talked to like Thomas Piranen or whatever, the guy who did Mordheim. They talked to some artists that Cody was telling me about, and I didn't recognize their names, but they're like newer Games Workshop artists, I think. Surprise, they talked to John Blanche. Spoilers.
What? They found them? Ah,
Found 'em.
God, the movie's ruined for me.
Well, it's kind of like, it's like the only person who gives a shit about someone named John Blanche is a someone who's already in the community. I don't know if that's, it's not the main title. It's like the subtitle. I guess that's how they drag in the guys who know about John. Like, oh, they mentioned John Blanche. They know their shit. I don't know. Oh, the other thing that I was able to...
Cool.
Go ahead.
I said I think it's kind of cool that you know, I mean I know John Hader is not a huge name actor, but I do think it's kind of cool that this little niche community is getting more of a mainstream highlight here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I feel more interested in John Heder mainstreaming our community than what's his name? Superman?
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
But Henry Cavill's more, I think, just for the I mean, I think the Grimdark 28 community is a much more niche, even within a niche community.
Yeah. You're right.
I think Henry Cavill much more appeals to the I think the general Warhammer hobbyist than he does, the more artsy fartsy Warhammer hobbyist. Like, I think this is more appealing to.
Well, you say that, but like I was like everyone who I spoke to who doesn't necessarily know anything about Warhammer. I'm like Napoleon Dynamite was. My wife's like, "What the heck? Why was Napoleon Dynamite there?" She knows some stuff about Warhammer, but
that's true.
He's not a big actor, but I think he still has like he's still a star. People.
Yeah, he's still recognizable, even if
know
nobody
who he
knows
is.
what he's done outside of that movie.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think I do. I know what he's. I did not speak to him.
Me as the guy that like could have been the next like Daniel Radcliffe or Elijah Wood, but never quite got there.
I pictured him being the next Michael Cera.
Or that, yeah, I could see that too.
Like less heartthrob, more like dorkthrob.
Yeah, I could see that.
Other tip that I shared: make sure to use Nivea. Lubricate your tools. It's the best thing for sculpting. Really, truly. This one came from Roxville, who makes really friggin' cool conversions on Instagram, because it's the pride.
Oh,
I've already been
this stuff
given
is
shit.
great.
What's that?
I love Roxville's conversions. If you guys aren't if folks on chat haven't followed him, he does like mostly like Necromunda like stuff, right?
He does just the coolest shit all the time.
I love his little Inquisition groups, because he does like more obscure Inquisition Ordos, like he's done like the Ordo Sepulchrum and like the Ordo Chronos and the Ordo Astartes.
I didn't realize
like
that
he does really like obscure, like ones that have like no background lore, and then he makes up his own lore and creates really characterful personalities for these little groups of characters.
I just loved his myth, even if I didn't know. Like really cool armor, like a little bit like heavier armor that looks like maybe cathedrals riding around on people's.
Yeah, I really like how he's also not afraid to like go back and remake a figure that he's not happy with. Like he's got like this one Inquisitor, I think he's remade like 4 or 5 times.
When someone does that, I feel stressed out for them. No, you had a miniature. You were done. You were done. You could put that on the pile of achievement. Take it off the pile of potential. And when I'm done, I'm done. I'm like, if I want to remake this, I will make a new from scratch. I won't. Or do you mean he's keeps the old ones and then another one?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
Oh,
he literally
sorry, I
makes like
misunderstood.
version 2.0 version. I think he's made a version 4.0 of the same Inquisitor.
Okay, he's not like doing the thing that Persnickety Sculptor does, cough cough, where he like deconstructs the model existing and then it.
No, no, no.
That's the
there's
thing
a
I think.
hobbyist on Instagram that I really love that does that too, and like I'm not gonna rag on him for it because everything he makes is great. But I think it's Berserker Miniatures. He does a ton of really cool conversions, but like he's got like there's like this one model he came out with that like has pieces from like 6 previous projects that he was working on because just he's very like wishy-washy with his stuff, but
Well, it could
everything
also
he
be the
makes is so
case that
great.
you make one thing and you're like, I got that concept out of my head. I got the picture. And you could just
Yeah,
like ecologically speaking, reuse the component for something else.
yeah,
I
but I
kind of
really
like
enjoy
having the I kind of like having that posterity of
Yeah.
models to hang around with, especially like some of my older conversions that are sitting on the left of me right now, where I'm like, oh man, I feel like I've come a long way. I need
I
to
feel
Yeah,
like I
redo
should
something like that.
use that explanation if but my pile of potential. Oh, it's for posterity. I'm keeping all these boxed miniatures for posterity.
yeah, I have like 6 boxes of posterity sitting behind me,
This is the archives for posterity.
like
A much nicer
400
word.
unopened blisters of posterity.
Anyway, yeah. What were we talking about? We were talking about Roxville and how awesome he is. Yeah, he's super cool and super generous. Where like he I think I don't know if he showed his Nivea or something, and it's you can only get these like Pride Niveas in Germany, and these are actually a weird size. They're halfway between the small ones we get and the large ones.
I'm mostly
And I don't
disappointed at
they're not as wide as the ones we normally get. North America.
I'm mostly disappointed that I can't get the larger metal tins in the States.
That's really
They're also really hard to get over here.
You can the big metal tins you can get them on Amazon. I've gotten a couple.
Yeah, but that's not. I'm not spending that kind of like time and money on Amazon for something that's just
Uh,
purely just an aesthetic
More
like
yeah.
want.
common
They're
these
very easy.
days.
The super large ones are the ultra large ones are
These days, these plastic containers are more common for Nivea.
sucks.
I
And
just wanted
if
the metal one so I could put my creature comfort sticker on the top.
Heck yeah. It was designed
and
precisely for that purpose. Wait, I don't know if that's true. I can't remember if it was a happy accident.
You know what? Let's revisit history and just say that it was intentional, man.
Intentional, totally.
No one can like second guess you otherwise.
I can tell
So
you that when I
scrub this
made
tape.
these, I made sure that they fit on the smaller Nivea. Good measure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say, you guys, if you have any interest at all, event, Syrian, so many. Flesh. There's also just like a really cool, different. I've done before, like even as recently as like Kill Team tournament. I've done like a 40K tournament. Did the Crossgrave event that Hydra. Those are my experiences, but I feel like those ones were more regimented. Like even Hydra's one, which was a thing with his friends, like he was very responsive. Like series of like games that would be better. But so we had that with Visterion, but it was just this thing where it was like a lax kind of system. For the first game, um, we literally had 2 decks, 13 cards. They would hand you cards, and you would draw a card that matched a table, and then that would be like opponent. Like that was how we were distributed. And then from the second game, they're just like, go play whoever you want. Like find a person whose army you like, find a person who you like, find a person who you think, ask them if they want to play, and you should go and pick a table. So they were like more chill on that. Then when it came time to like figure out any rules questions, because I was not super familiar with the rule pack, we were Necromunda that's been down quite a bit and had the from into it. I would go up to like the Wire Brothers, like Bolter and me. Hey, how do I handle this rule? They'd literally be like, dude, I don't fucking care. Just do whatever's cool. Like, talk to your opponent. Find out what you think would be most cinematic and handle it that way. So it was good. It was very fluid. And I wound up playing one day, 3 games. And then on the second day, I just chilled and talked to people. I was like, I think I've had enough games. I think now I just want to. That was totally fun. I wasn't letting anyone down. I wasn't supposed to play. Just choose your own adventure kind of.
Yeah, that's kind of, I think that summarizes why I've connected so much with the 28 community in general. Is
Have you
because
been to an
that's
event?
kind of the general. I really want to go to one. I wanted to go to the one in Virginia, that they did like last year, like early last year. It was earlier this year. I can't remember.
Balls.
But I wasn't able to make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to go, especially because I think the Wire brothers live pretty close because they live like kind of in the Baltimore area, don't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, so they're pretty close by. So I'd love to go to one. But I don't know, having a kid and planning a wedding
I
right now, it's kind of hard to schedule stuff right now.
I don't have a kid. We had a wedding. So I don't have to worry about that stuff. But I did and like 1.5 years, 2 years in advance of this, in the
Yeah,
sense that when I heard the Wire brothers describing the last event, which was Mordheim in 22, I was like, this sounds so cool. Okay, the next time these guys have an, so like I like sent a message to Bill on Instagram. I hadn't talked to him before in my life. Like, hey Bill, I heard about you on podcast. Your Mordheim thing sounded really cool. I would really love to go to like the event you plan. He had said, well, the Wires are thinking about doing like 8 setting. We might do that together. So I just kept tuned in, and whenever the Wires were posting about Visterion, or Bill was posting about Visterion, I was like, I made sure they knew that like I was interested in coming when they like started announcing dates and all that. So yeah, I plan in advance for it. Happenstance kind of thing. So I'd recommend that to anyone. Feel like you want to one of these events, keep an eye out for the one that you want to go to, and then like be ready to plan, getting the time off, saving up, travel if you need to travel, um, having the time to dedicate to cults. You can bring models, make something for the setting. Yeah, try to plan for it.
yeah. I mean, my pie in the sky goal is like if I can actually get this trip to 28 setting going, is I'd like to maybe host one of my own one of these days. But
Cool.
that's again, that's a pie in the sky goal.
I'd come to that. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
You could talk to the Wire Brothers, and it's useful to have people to help you with.
for sure. Yeah, I gotta get a more like cohesive like primer for people that would want to contribute because like right now the setting's just so big and so all over the place. I need to create something more cohesive that people could, actually make something off of that isn't just like, oh, here's a planet, make something based on the planet, you know. So
Yeah, cool. My pie in the sky idea is to do one that focuses on Xenos, because Xenos is woefully underrepresented. 28 stuff. But who knows if that could work.
I actually had like a vague idea for something like that, where it would be like Ordo Xenos would have like a prison full of like obscure Xenos races, and it would be some kind of prison break type thing where every player would make their own avatar that would be like a either made up or obscure Xenos race, and they would get to play out kind of like
That's neat.
a prison break event. You could either build like one of the Xenos escapees or build like one of the Inquisitional prison guards or whatever.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
I like that. You'd have to like find a way to like add additional depth. Is that's running over like.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely.
You could do it with is it Traz in the Infinite who like collects people?
Yeah, that'd be a good one actually.
Instead of his petting zoo.
Yep.
It'd be a good
Damn it.
excuse to make creepy Necrons. Because the other thing with like the Ink 28 community is that it's more, as we're talking about John Heater in the Dark movie, it's described as more grim dark. So the physical painting, the sculpting is a little less fine. Like slapdash at times can be weathered. Yeah, it's not as like vibrant as like second edition Warhammer. It's really the Blanche style, the name that is given to like miniature art inspired by John Blanche style, which is loosely defined and not as saturated and that. So it'd be cool to like think about taking Xenos to that level, like making them really like cosmic horror-y.
Yeah. There's some
Yeah.
races too you haven't really seen a lot of people do that with. Orcs are one. You don't see a lot of people do like very grim dark orcs. You don't see a
Oh,
lot of
Isaac
like grim
Tobin
dark
started.
Eldar.
It wasn't exactly grim dark orcs, but Isaac Tobin started like doing who's Weirding's Way, Graham, who did like the famous for his Gator household.
Mm-hmm.
Into a bunch of. He started doing something like grimdark orcs. Like it was kind of like, if you know, I didn't know this until recently. The like deep orc lore, like on the origin of the orcs, that they were supposedly created by the old ones, and they were called quarks.
Yeah, the
Something.
Quark.
Quark. Yeah, and then they got dumb, and they turned into the orcs that we. But they used to be something like that could like go with an elf, and were like giant, proper giant, super. So he started doing stuff I think looked more like orc stuff, orcs before their technology stuff, and that was super interesting. That could be.
Yeah, the legacy of the Beast books, which take place like narratively shortly after the Horus Heresy, kind of did something like that, because they made the whole idea that like the Beast was like, because the Wa was so big, the giant psychic conglomeration of orcs made the war bosses of the Wa become like super intelligent, to the point that they were like re-evolving back into what the orcs used to be. So you had
Oh,
like orc diplomats and stuff that were like actually intelligent aliens that were able to actually like hold conversations and stuff with like to a normal human recognition. And they
interesting.
were actually very scary in those books comparatively. Like they didn't feel as comedic relief as a lot of orcs do in a lot of the current
Interesting.
novels.
Like that. Yeah,
Those
and like
books were
that's
like hit or miss, but I did like the portrayal of the orcs.
that's the thing. Like we were kind of like talking about someone was talking about like the various settings. They're kind of saying like, oh yeah, well, like you don't want to have like the in like setting because they're so goofy, totally out there, and they don't have like it's like, oh no, you can love DVs.
I think that's part of the fun is taking the more goofy stuff and then turning that on its head and making it sinister, making it creepy, and making it weird. Um, I think that's just not wanting to have what the idea of wanting to avoid that because it's weird or goofy is
Yeah, it's
is
just like a
is
lack of
kind of
imagination.
defeatist and
Can be a lack of
defeats the purpose.
You
Yeah,
can
it's a
figure
lack
this
of
out.
imagination.
You can make this creepy, just like you made Space Marines creepy. You can make
Exactly.
any Xenos like, um, yeah, like for example, squigs. Squigs, hilarious. Want to make a squig scary? Take the eyes off of it.
Yeah.
Sculpt over the nose. It's probably gonna get pretty scary.
I mean, want to make a squig scary? Remind people that squigs are used for pretty much everything in orc society. Everything from hair to clothing to, the idea of picking up a creature out of the ground and shoving it on your head and it integrating itself into your head as a piece of hair. Like, what about orc slavers that decorate their slaves with different squids? I think that's horrifying. The idea, oh, we need to give these slaves pink hair, grab these pink squigs and put these parasites on these poor humans' heads to make them more appealing to other orc slave buyers.
I don't remember this. That's interesting. Yeah, so I think it would be like cool to do Grimdarks. It was the case that at Visterion, one of my favorite interactions was um with Lunax. Is he Lunax 77? His name's Shane.
Something like that. I know who you're talking about.
Shane is Lunax 707. So Shane does True Scale Space Marines. I didn't actually think I was following Shane. And I was like, I was talking to him, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, like who are you?" And he's like, "Lunax." I'm like, "Oh, Lunax, I think I know your stuff. Yeah, you do those cool Space Marines." He's like, "Yeah, where are your Tyranids?" Like, what? He's like, "Why didn't you bring your Tyranids? I wanted to see your Tyranids." I'm like, "What? You give a shit about my Tyranids?" He's like, "Yes. When I heard you were coming, I thought you were gonna bring Tyranids, and I was so excited to see them in person." I was like, "Well, that's very kind of you, but I did not bring Tyranids because I didn't think Xenos were allowed in this setting." Um, I snuck in with Gene, but yeah. So it was really sweet that like I see people who only post Space Marines. I often assume like you don't really this kind of stuff. Apparently they do.
Well, a lot of these
Decent.
Space Marines, they also have to think about the things that they're going to be killing too. Just like we care about the things that we eat.
Good point. Are you saying that I
Gotta
should
have
care
a
about Space
balanced
Marines?
diet.
Are you saying I should care about Space Marines?
Yes, got to care about all the flavors: cherry and blueberry,
Well,
Angry
watermelon.
wolf.
Unfortunately,
Wolf.
they come in all the skill
my
flavors.
favorite is Angry Wolf flavor. It's cool and refreshing. That's awesome.
Like
Um,
winter, like flavors of Gatorade. Just,
Winter
you know,
Mint, Polar Ice. Um, but yeah, like one of the reasons that I didn't take Tyranny to Visterion, other not, was that I kind of have been having this thing lately where I want to make sure that people know I do stuff other than I've been doing a lot of Tyranids lately, that's for sure. But like I don't think anyone knows that Insular Cult and that Oven, some folks might know. But yeah, like there's other Gene Stealer Cult, like I haven't posted. There's other factions I have interest. I'd like to get back to next year. Focus back to some anything.
I think you need to do Eldar.
Aspects of Exile build team that I started like late 2023, early 2020. Specs, geez, that's Aspects of Exile. Spider, and now my Warp Spider is going to be old soon. Like, there's soon. That's
I'll
unfortunate.
believe that when I see it.
I think it's actually happened. Anyway, yeah, I got to do my Aspects of Exile because that was it. Also, because Kill Team, they're doing a thing now where like the rules are going to be invalid.
Oh,
Kill Team's viable for a year or 2 years, I think. Oh,
just as a heads up, it's like raining heavily and my lights are flickering off. So if I happen to just like disappear off of it, it might just be me losing power at home. So
oh, sorry.
It's just
I'm gonna
raining
hope
heavily.
you're okay if that happens.
Oh yeah, I'll be fine. It'll just be like, oh no, I've lost all electricity.
We're getting some rain right now. Thanks for the warning.
It rained a bit over the past couple days, but it's been mostly sunny today.
There's a lot of rain in here. Yes, I will share better pictures of my. I kind of wanted to like surprise people with it. I didn't, but like document. That was why I wasn't. I posted a little bit of. That's really the. That is sketchy. I jump. Cutting off. Post Instagram probably as much as I do. Like I will still, but not as frequently. Place where I really. Even if I'm not. It should show up in your feed by randomness. Basically just.
It really would be nice if a savvy like web designer in the community could found a new like social media photo sharing platform for this kind of stuff.
Wow, it's so like it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I know.
You got Jack Dorsey running Blue Sky. Everyone's losing their mind about Blue Sky right now. Oh my god, Blue Sky, it's growing so fast. It's growing pretty fast, but it's nowhere near like what Twitter got, Facebook has got. And granted, they've built that up over. But it's gonna take a while for Blue Sky to get to the point Twitter was at when everyone started leaving it. So
All right, I'm convinced. I'm gonna start GeoCities or MySpace 2.0.
GeoCities.
Gotta get
I get
content.
Angel. Is it Angel Flare? Angel Fire? What was the other?
Angel Fire.
Angel Fire.
Get those embedded MIDIs that you can't turn off. Yeah.
Oh hell
Bring
yeah!
back
You visit the website, their music starts playing. Well, that's kind of like YouTube. So,
I'll be right
shut
back.
up! Shut up! Shut up!
Amsterdam.
Yeah,
Those
it's a
were
lot
the
of work.
days.
Is what I was trying to say. It's a lot of work to start social media. And I think successful investors to like social media. So get really successful to host all that content. Big archive. Challenging, I think, for someone to just people have tried. Also,
Load
shout
up
out to
some
you guys
Visual
into the
Basic.
chat. Does anyone use Threads? I do not. Despite what Mark Zuckerberg will do when you're on Instagram, I do Threads. Anyone?
No. if you wouldn't have gotten me to use Instagram, and I'm not really using Instagram, wouldn't be using any Facebook stuff for, yeah.
I don't use
I
I don't use
I used to
Facebook. I
call it
refuse to use
Spybook, so
WhatsApp. Oh,
I used to call it Spybook because
there you go.
Facebook really doesn't care about your privacy and your data and everything. And it's the one service I really can't do without.
I used to call it Crackbook. Crack addicted. That was before AI. Yeah, I've cut off. I deleted my Facebook. So I have a modern Facebook account. You see me posting on there, it's because Meta really. So it'll like take my. If you follow me on Facebook and you're like, why do you never respond to? I use the product. I can't cut. Because like now it's mostly like a mess. If people want to reach out to me, they can't reach out to me on. Like I can give you like my email, or you can shift. And of course, I have like. I don't begrudge. Appreciate you taking the plunge into so that I all the cool hobbyists who I are all in one place. That's really why I drag people on Instagram. And I care. I want to see what you're doing. I care what you're doing.
I never feel like my stuff is good enough, so.
That
We all have imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
My imposter syndrome has imposter syndrome.
Oh, look at Mr. Fancy Pants here with his double inception imposter syndrome.
Inception imposters. Awesome. I felt a little bit of imposter syndrome at the.
I could imagine being surrounded by all those talented artists for sure.
You're
Not
very
that
welcome.
you are yourself are not one.
Yeah, but you have imposter syndrome, but it's also like the style thing, like style is. And
Sometimes
like
it's kind of
Blanchard I find John Blanchard respect the work start or Hammer for artists who are going to.
Yeah, I feel like John. I feel like if you look a lot of the trajectory of grimdark art nowadays, you definitely see the inspiration of John Blanche. But I feel like John kind of set the tone, not maybe not as much as the style. And I feel like his work is essential, if not um, like his role in Grimdark and Ink 28 is undeniable, but I think you can participate in the Grimdark and 28 art style without riffing too much on John.
Like I said it before, I was always more about the Goodwin shit. Riffing on whatever Jess Goodwin was.
just Goodwin. His stuff is always just fantastic.
That's who I. Okay. So, what kind of hobby stuff are you guys looking forward to in the next?
I gotta finish up all the current projects I got right now. Well, not all of them, but at least 4. At least 4.
Oh, so you
It's
can
my
do your
goal for the
picture?
year. Yes, I could do my picture, and I'm close. I'm close. I think I could do it.
Good.
There's only one model that's like I'm worried about not being able to get done in time, and I might skip that one and do a different one
For the
that's quicker.
dominatrix?
No, it's actually I was thinking about it being the talent horror, but
Yeah, you
really it's
talked about
just
that.
that the base is holding me back. I just I'm going back and forth on how I want to handle the base.
I was gonna say, can't you do that later? But I guess it might affect.
It's because the base is because the model is it's like looking over a pillar at like the little girl and stuff. So it's like almost like a diorama on a base. So I kind of set myself up for that. The model itself is actually almost done. It's really just I gotta attach the arms and like do a little bit of gap filling, and that's about it. Um, but then integrating it into the
All about
base
that
is
base.
yeah, no trouble.
Okay, so that's Shane. Kajan. What do you?
I hope to be finishing the Maleceptor, and yeah, I still need to do some cooking for the mold I was making. I wanted to kick off November on my Instagram with that stuff, but then I got sick and suddenly wasn't feeling like cooking anymore.
Of
Uh,
course.
so I kind of missed that one. So I
Sorry.
plan to do that next week. And yeah, I don't think I will be quite getting done with this Maleceptor plan for November. I mean, looking at the date, it's only 10,
Sorry,
10
is it
more
a
days.
maleceptor or a malefactor?
Malefactor, sorry. Always
Okay.
keep calling it Maleceptor.
I thought it was
The
a
transport.
malefactor. Excited. And you said maleceptor, and I was a little
Yeah,
bit
no, no.
excited, but I was more excited about the malefactor.
It. I'm planning for the Malefactor, the transport. So it's
Yeah. So,
going to get a dragonfly tail, which with tentacles in it, where it will grab on the transport creatures it's transporting, and some hard shell wings with which it can basically close them up, so it will be like an insect tail
yeah,
that can open up and shield what it's transporting.
that's neat. So
And
for people, because we
yeah,
had to explain to people like things for people who are not as long experienced with the Tyranids as we may be, what is a malefactor?
Malefactor is transport, an assault transport. So it's meant to breach into the front line and disgorge a group of smaller organisms, like a group of gene stealers or a group of bounty,
Yeah.
which it's
And
transporting right into the middle.
where did the concept for the malefactor originate?
I believe from Epic 40K. That's
Yeah, there
where
was
it's original.
the precursor to what are they calling it now? Egio Astartes or something?
Uh, don't quite remember. No.
The new game they made for Horus Heresy where everything's real small.
Legion
Basically.
Imperialis.
Sorry?
Uh,
Me?
Legions Imperialis.
Legions and yes, this used to be called Epic or Titan Legion. And it is a bring back of this old game. It used to be scale 14? I don't
I
know.
think Epic was originally like 6mm scale.
6. 6mm scale, yes. So that's 40K is 28mm scale. Something 6mm. Yeah, so they did it for Horus Heresy, but it used to be the case that all the army orcs, there was Space Marine, Guard, Tyranids. I don't know that Neck. Eldar. Yeah, so that was epic. Now they brought it back, but they haven't brought back the Tyranids. The rest of the race things like the Malefactor. Original side, so Crimes, Dominatrix, Aerospecs. They had tiny effects, really tiny monsters for all wild gaunt. Yeah, so the Malefactor was. We haven't seen Exocrine come back. Trigon was something that premiered in Epic. It came in the real line, Aerospecs, but we've never gotten a Dactylus. We've never gotten Malefactor, so it's cool that Kajan's making.
I mean, I believe Will was also working on one at some point.
Yeah, it's off to the side right now. I
Yeah,
put that on
recently.
hold for. Yeah, I put that on hold for November.
Oh, no, that's a Tyranid too, right?
Yeah, but I got I rolled the experimental biomorph.
Oh, that's fine. I want to see
Thing.
your experimental biomorph. I know that the Malefactor will be fine, but I'm really excited about your Malefactor. The original Malefactor, I never loved the design, but I've loved a lot of the stuff that with since make it more logical. I guess you
Reminds
could
me of
say that the Turvagon is like the Malefactor. Instead of transport gaunts that are, well, they'll just birth them. Transports them unborn. Not like you can get.
Yeah, Thrifty Squirrel was the one that had been working on a like big ass transport bug for a while too.
I
I
think
think
that was for his Tyrastodes. I mean, he's doing a Tyranid custom. They're all Tyranid. Oh, it could definitely be used as specifically that was supposed to.
Yeah, and I went ahead for mine and looked at the old artwork we have for it, and I'm trying right now to get the weaponry right and stuff like that. I'm not quite sure how I want to represent the acid jets. Not quite sure what they will be looking like. And I'm happy with my front limbs. I try to keep them reminiscent of the artwork we have. Actually, I'm holding one in my hand right now.
Nice.
And the idea is that it will be getting. I will be. It's basically the standing on its fingertips. Basically,
Yep.
on the fingertips will be armored up. To be each point will be a digit, part of the finger,
Yep.
and then it's getting a big claw on the side where it will be standing on as a thumb. It will be getting a fighting talon thumb,
Yep.
basically. That's my plan. So it can still hook onto ramparts and pull itself up on top of them. And yeah, that's going to be my movement biomorph. That's
Cool.
why that that's how this whole thing came up, because I wrote the movement biomorph on the table and had to think of something what I wanted to do.
Thanks for taking that challenge. You rolled yours too. Experiment.
Yeah, I got the experimental one. Yeah.
Love that name. It's like experiment.
Yeah, that
I
one was
rolled on
kind
the
of a
chart as well.
You did?
The
yeah,
the
like
result
it's
the result I got was work on your fucking projects. That was
Sorry, Will?
Oh, no, I was just saying that the experimental one was just kind of wild because, I mean, that one's definitely the most open-ended one, obviously. I was like, I wonder what I'm gonna do with this one. Oh, it's been kind of an adventure here.
It's kind of like the experimental one is like, let your creativity fly.
But that's a movement biovore. Ha ha ha
And
ha.
Biovore?
Biomorph. Flying.
I did not.
That jokes.
You were trying to bake my noodle by suggesting a Biovore. A little trip.
Oh, I'm sure I'd have some weird something. I don't know.
What if it was a catapult that
Flying,
catapulted itself across
flying
the biofield?
artillery.
Huh?
Hmm. Flying artillery. That
That
sounds
would be interesting.
like awesome.
Biovore.
Hmm.
Don't the
And I,
Zerg have something like that in StarCraft?
yeah, the Guardian.
Uh,
Didn't make a lot of sense. The flying Biovore, I'm picturing now something that like it like flaps, and then when it needs to fire, it like has this like spiked tail or something that it just or like head or something that it just drives down into the ground, anchor it to fire, and then it sticks its tail up in the air, and it's actually a butt cannon because it dove its head into the ground. And the butt cannon fires, and it uses it fires out, but then it uses somehow the kickback from the shot to knock itself out of the ground.
Hmm.
Like
Hey,
projectile fires along the tail, and then the exhaust or something fires down towards the head and digs it out.
When you were saying about a flying thing that kind of like dropped down to the ground, I was kind of thinking like Kirby, when he does
Stone?
his like smash move,
Yeah,
where like he turns into a rock and just drops
yeah,
down.
yeah. You think a Tyranid should do
Ooh,
that?
that's a
I mean,
nice idea. Like an armadillo turret that's forming up into a cannonball.
Yeah, that actually would be
Oh,
kind of cool if it just like as it's flying down, it like swoops down and rolls itself into a death ball.
the
Yeah,
Tyranid is
Just
the
rolls
artillery
along an
piece?
artillery line,
yeah.
crushing everything.
That's weird.
But I don't know how you would even portray that in model form.
I mean, you would have to make it like an armadillo. You give it the exterior. You make it roughly round, and then you give it some. You obviously don't show it as a ball itself, but you give it some heavy claws like something that can burrow, and then and you give it the exterior that suggests that it can roll up into a ball, so it
Yeah.
can cannonball into the enemy and then unfurl and with its large digging claws, skies through everything.
What would be? It looks like a big thing to buy, though. Seems like it would be very.
Yeah. It almost sounds more like it should be something that like comes up a Trigon's tunnel. Or maybe a rework of the Viragon. Like maybe a reconceptualization of the Viragon. I'm almost
What was
imagining something with the body type of that one Kador Warjack, the really round, bulky one though. Where it's just
Devastator.
like, yeah,
what
that
was
one. And then it just kind of
What?
tucks its
the
body together
Terror?
and just rolls at you.
Sorry, you said Kador and I heard Cawdor, and I was trying to
Oh,
picture like
I don't know if it is
Necromunda.
Kador or Kador. I don't know how you pronounce it. The
No, no,
I
Russian
no, but
pronounced it
like
Condor, but
I missed that you were talking about War Machine. I thought you were talking about Warhammer. So I heard.
Oh no, I
You heard
was. But there's one
what?
Warjack from Kador that like is very like round and kind of has like big arms and it kind of looks like it tucks together into like a big living shield.
This
I'm
is War
kind of
Machine.
imagining something with a similar
yes.
body shape to
Okay,
that.
thank you. Will.
But
Yeah,
this
I have a
the
couple of
idea
those.
for that one could be the Cerebor. We had the Cerebor, that large, massive siege organism that was looking like a big armored bug, like an Hercules beetle without
I don't remember
the
the
tip.
Cerebor. Shut up.
Check. I have
Oh
this.
yeah, yeah. That I do remember the Cerebor. It was in the TCG.
All the good shits and
Yeah.
totally cool game.
Put a link into the chat.
But he did an interesting 3D model of one.
Good.
Yeah.
Sick. Every time I hear
put the link in
Cerebor,
the
all I
chat.
can think about is Turok Dinosaur Hunter, Cerebral Boar. The best gun
I
ever.
saw a TikTok the other day where it was like, "Have you thought about Turok today?"
I did.
Dino
I should
Crisis.
have.
I was like, I haven't, but I'm glad I have now. Although I'm also sad I have now because now I want a new Turok game again, and a new Dino
Yeah,
Crisis game
They were
again.
not great. They were fun, but they were not great.
Oh,
yeah,
I love Turok and Dino Crisis. You shut your mouth.
So this Cerebor model looks like full of 3D.
I'm not sure which one you're looking at.
It's probably the
I
one
see
with
a
the big
couple.
roary mouth.
This one's more like subdued. I don't know if it's by the same guy. Looks like it might be by the same guy, just in different poses. I kind of like the more subdued pose one though.
Yeah, like the Cerebor to me, slug bug.
Yeah.
I think is
Although I'm not sure how I feel about giant weird slug bug.
Yeah, Slugbog is the other one. Is the
all the old Tyranids, the old Tyranid Titans used slug bugs, spider bugs.
Yeah, I like the Vitiator. The artwork was always really weird, but that's another
But that
one
was
I
the
would like
walkie
to
one.
see. Yeah.
It looks kind of like a what was that one? The Dim Karen?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
the Slugbog was the Nautiloid, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that's another slug bug. They're both pretty.
And the Viragon, yeah,
Yeah, they
which
all
looked
like
like a big Hydro.
Hydralisk.
Yeah,
Hey
at least
man,
it does to me.
I did my like Project Deslugify when I made like the X Dactylus. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time for a Project Slugify. The slugs are completely gone.
Wasn't there a Russian company back in like the 5th edition era of Tyranids that did a sluggy, not Tervagon model?
I don't remember this.
I gotta look this up.
I'm not saying it didn't happen. I just probably right.
Oh no. No. No, no.
Power?
Snap the piece.
Oh no.
No, I can save this. I can save this.
I
You
get
have
your
the
old ping
power to
vice.
save it.
The person to ask about this would be Flynn.
Yeah, I was just. You've got the art gallery. He's got the museum. What you got?
Oh yeah, this thing. It's not quite as sluggy as I remember.
What should I Google? What does it look like?
It's hold on. I didn't even know. I just found a picture of it looking up Russian Tervagon model. Well, if you look up Russian Tervagon model, it looks like it's the second picture.
See. Russian Turvagon. Man, I'm gonna look forward to having that in my search history. Also, I've got a really nice like mechanical board, but the Bluetooth is slow. Russian Turvagon. I see One that's walking on a bunch of silent town.
Yeah, it's look. So the picture has it next to like a little second edition Turbigan or Turbigan.
Yes.
It was a Russian company or Ukraine. I can't remember, but
Looks
it
like a
was
big
around the time the
head.
chapter house was a big thing. I always liked this design, but like not every aspect of it. But I always liked like the body. I was just
Will,
never a
you'll be
fan of
happy to
their
hear that the
solution
place where I found my
legs.
picture was Daka Daka.
Good old Daka.
Posted by Crude Hawk.
I remember that guy's name.
Ouroboros painting scheme, sculpted
Yeah,
by
Ouroboros.
Grishnak from Russia.
Oh, Russian Grishnak. You don't know Grishnak? He knows you.
Yakov Smirnov said that.
Hi, folks. Updates from my Ouroboros High Fleet.
Ugh,
Wait, is this?
he's-
No.
Kajan.
Classic.
Gold.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while. Yep.
He was inspired in a simplified version of highfleetmoak.de. That
Also classic.
if he has some.
I like remember that particular model though, because I remember back in 5th edition there were like threads on a lot of these forums of like, here's all the different companies that make the third party, bone swords and
Yeah.
drop pods, and like
Yeah,
here's a
like
good,
on Daka, it was
buy
under
these like.
alternate Tyranids.
I remember the Mega Blocks dinosaur or dragon eggs. A lot of people that you used for the drop pods. Chapter House was a big one.
That's it.
Chapter House was the big one.
Yeah, that ruined
And
it for.
kudos to them for sticking to their guns and just taking the lawsuits head on.
Yeah. I mean, the Russian guys didn't really give a shit.
I mean, like good luck stopping those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've got some German tea. It's on brand. See my video?
Yeah, nice.
This is by a local brewery called Bandit. All their stuff has raccoons on it, which is super cute. This is Mr. Pink Viscous Watermelon Pale Ale. Yes, I am going to steal the sticker off and put it on something.
Oh, fun.
Hmm?
I'm just trying to really carefully pin this thing back together and
Oh, man.
uh,
Important
not.
work, but tough work. Glad you're doing it.
Well, it's not gonna stick back together without any sort of pinning, so
If when in doubt, definitely pin. Annoying, just get some God hand bits and your life will be one. Did I tell you guys that I'm teaching classes at Adepticon?
no.
No.
I'm teaching classes at Adepticon. You heard it here first.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
This
speaking of
coming
imposter syndrome.
March.
Yes, sir.
Oh man,
So I
very
think
exciting.
my classes are the Wednesday night, the Thursday, the Friday, and maybe one on Saturday. I can't remember. I'm doing two
In good
intros.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. I've never been to Milwaukee before. I've got 2 intros to green stuff. One green stuff thing, which is hopefully people bring their problems for that one. So, then I'm doing one on like kit bashing because I assume that the stuff that I know and stuff that everyone knows, but then like I went to my group, they're like, "How do I solve this?" I'm like, "Gotta pin it." What? Like, what about this? And I'm like, "You should put baking soda on that." Baking soda? Then everyone like his mind is blown. I don't know.
Oh, that was a game changer for me.
Really,
Yeah, chisel plates.
I'm gonna try and help people.
Hmm.
I've taught
I
stuff
should
before.
see if I can. I should see if I can make it to Adepticon.
Yeah, it would be great to see you there. I'm hoping to see a lot of people there. I don't know. I am definitely gonna. My first time ever going, but I was wondering about it. Saw that. Shout out to Valbjorn, creator of what did you call them? What was the flavor of candy? Angry Wolf.
Angry Wolf.
Wolf. Valbjorn is famous for his Angry Wolves. Did a session at last year. Like, hey, I was really curious about like how you made that happen. He's like, I think they're accepting more because it's in a new venue. Said that kind of like new in same always did so I that'll be exciting.
Oh, your camera went off, Mr. Pink.
Thank you for the warning.
Does that mean it's time?
Mm, listen, if you need to go, you go. But I just cracked a German tea, so I got some juice in me yet. Work camera works.
Brother Pink thinks you should be inviting Napoleon Dynamite to your sculpting class.
Honestly, I don't think he's that interested. I think it's like he acted in their documentary. He was their host. He was like their Borat kind of thing. I don't know if he's gonna.
Yeah, you could always contact Vin Diesel. He's he made a big deal about playing Dungeons and Dragons. So
Well, that's not Warhammer though.
maybe yeah, but maybe you can.
Oh, he's a Warhammer guy too.
I believe I saw an interview where he said he was playing Warhammer. He
I
doesn't.
love Henry Cavill's like I get into Warhammer and like, oh my god, Henry Cavill's into Warhammer. Meanwhile, Vin Diesel's like, guys, I've been here this whole time. And everyone's like, who are you again? Oh, poor Vin Diesel. I'm more interested in Vin Diesel playing Warhammer than
Yeah, now that Will mentioned it, I'm having a faint memory of Vin Diesel talking about playing Warhammer on some talk show.
cool. So what's
Yeah,
next?
Robin Williams
Zelensky.
was also.
Yeah. Saddest part was when really cute. Stand it. There was this rumor that he came into the Games Workshop in Toronto.
Mm,
Tell you who comes into my
I
hobby
can't
shop,
believe it.
Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, that's cool.
Ooh.
Not for work.
What is he into?
Into scale models, like
Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
but I've never met him. Says the guy at the hobby.
Yeah.
Brother Pink says Robin Williams supposedly went to the Games Workshop in Toronto while filming Jumanji.
So that was the apocryphal story that I knew. But I thought I looked this up and Jumanji was not filmed in Toronto.
It was filmed in Hamilton.
Was it actually? Are you joking?
I don't know. I'm just making it. I picked something relatively close to Toronto.
Well, I like that you know that. That's a very good reference. Here we
I
go.
watch entirely too much hockey and watch entirely too much Canadian.
Yeah, you're the hockey guy. I forgot.
Yeah.
Care about hockey. So okay, Craig. Unfortunately, I think this is a story from Vancouver Games Workshop that maybe got transported over to Toronto Games Workshop. If there was a Vancouver game, it says the 1995 movie Jumanji was filmed in Canada, including in Vancouver, British Columbia, and Tawasin. Other locations include Burnaby and Maple Ridge. The movie was also filmed in New Hampshire and Maine. Definitely not Toronto. So I think we imported that story about Robin Williams.
Electro Dust Bunny is leaving us for tonight.
See you later, Electro Dust Bunny. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for stopping by the Between the Bolter and Me stream last night. Not on this channel.
Brett. And Brett Evans joined us.
Brett. G'day, Brett.
And
Sound doesn't bork. We're just that. We just sound like that.
Again?
He asked if the sound is borked for anybody else. I maintain that's just how we sound all the time.
Well, the sound could be borked. That could not be good. Let me try something. How do I do this? The audio might be coming in twice. No, it doesn't look like it.
No, I think we sound fine.
Well, Kajan was a little quiet there. Will, could you say something, please?
What up?
Your guys' audio might be a little low. I'll turn it up a bit.
Actually, I probably have to call it for tonight myself, but it's been great hanging out with everybody, and I guess I should say that if you enjoyed the stream, you should like, subscribe, and comment.
Thanks.
Wow.
And
Thanks,
share.
Will.
And share. Share
And
with
share.
other nerds.
Fellow
So they
nerds,
can-
give them the stuff. Especially if your fellow nerds are using green stuff.
Too. I'm feeling pretty
Hey, you're sick. I
pretty
can't
lousy.
believe you lasted this. Thanks, man.
It always gets worse during the evening.
No, because everything's draining.
So I'm gonna call it as well. But thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for sticking it out, Shane. Will and Kajan, thank you for joining. Kajan, I'm glad you're on the Shane, I hope you're on the mend soon. And I will let everyone know about, but we'll definitely be. But just watch my channel, schedule them. And so thank you all for joining out there on the internet. Thank you to everyone who listens to this after the fact and leaves a comment to let us know. And I hope everyone has a productive hobby week. Oh, and there's like a preview show on Friday if you give.
Alrighty.
All right, talk to you later.
Take care, everybody.
All right, good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.